Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining me today. Let's take a look at today's lesson objective. So today we will classify and sort three-dimensional figures according to their attributes. All right, so we're going to go over a bunch of vocabulary again. The first thing we're going to go over is attribute. So attribute is a characteristic used to describe something. This is also known as a property. So we use a bunch of different words to help us describe shapes. Okay. Now, specifically today, we are going to talk about three-dimensional shapes, or what is three-dimensional. Sometimes we'll see this in 3D as well for short. So a 3D shape has length, width, and height. So there are three dimensions that we are measuring. So it's not flat like a two-dimensional shape. It actually has some height to it. So it is a three-dimensional shape. So we're going to talk about different attributes that will make three-dimensional shapes. Now, some attributes that we're going to talk about is one, an edge. So an edge is where two faces, which is going to be the surface, meet on a three-dimensional object. So an edge is going to be these parts right here. It's where those two surfaces meet, and that is called an edge. Then we have a face, which is the flat surface of a solid object. So if we have a cube over here, one of the flat surfaces is a face. The vertex is the point where the edges meet on a solid object. So on this rectangular prism, we see that it meets right here. This face and this face meet at this little corner, and there's a third one behind it right here. So where it meets is called the vertex, or if we have plurals, we call them vertices. Okay, we're going to get into a couple of different 3D shapes. So the first one we're going to talk about is cone. So a cone is a solid with one base that is a circle and one apex, which is another way to say vertex. It has a curved surface that does not have any edges. So if we look at a cone, we'll have a circle at the bottom, at the base of it, and then we will have a point and then one curved edge connecting the whole circle together, connecting the circle to the point. So you can think of ice cream cones, birthday hats, things like that. That is a cone. Then we have a cube. So a cube has four square faces and two square bases. So bases are going to be the top and the bottom. It has 8 vertices, which means where the edges meet, and 12 edges, which is where our faces meet. We have a cylinder. So a cylinder is a solid with two circular bases. So that's going to mean the top is a circle, and then on the bottom as well is a circle. It has no vertices, so it has no corners, and it has no edges because it doesn't have any places where faces meet, and then one curved surface. So this is a cylinder. It has two circular bases. Then we have some prisms. The first one we're going to talk about is a rectangular prism. So a rectangular prism is a solid with 4 rectangular faces, right? So we see our rectangular faces here, 1, 2. We have one on the bottom and then one in the back, right? And then it has 2 square or rectangular bases. So that's going to be this right here. In this case, it's a square. It can also be a rectangle. Right? It has 8 vertices, which is going to be 8 corners, and then 12 edges, which is where our 2 faces are going to meet. So we have 12 of those. And the last shape we're going to talk about today is a triangular prism. So a triangular prism is a 3D shape with 3 rectangular faces. So if we were to take this part right here, this is a face. That's going to be a rectangle. We're going to have 3 of them, and then we're going to have 2 triangular bases. So here's a triangle on this side, and then the other side is another triangle, and those triangles are connected with rectangular faces. In addition, we have 6 vertices, which is going to be our corners, and then 9 edges, which is where our faces meet. All right, let's take a review of today's lesson objectives. So today we classified and sorted 3-dimensional figures according to their attributes. All right. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope this was a helpful lesson, and I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.